I have another update, ladies and gentlemen, on another topic that we have been talking about recently, and this maybe is where you can apply your on. See, if you can't have it in your wrestling business, you need to find some other kind of business. Well, there's some monkey business involved here.
I have no idea where you're going right now.
Well, remember we talked about, at first I was talking about, Kenny Olivier being all wrapped up in the Japanese culture to the point where he's gone insane and he thinks that this shit's going to get over in this country in any measurable fashion. And I said he's one of them weebles. And then
right.
One of the listeners wrote in and explained that it was weebs. And he talked about the anime dating simulation scene. Remember, we spoke about this where they have, because you needed to explain it to me, what was being simulated and what was being animated.
Well, for the record, I needed to have it explained to me. I found an article. I wasn't too aware of this genre in this world.
Well, to
be very clear.
There's animes and cinemas and verités and whatever the case, but we read an email about this and it helped explain some of Kenny's weirdness, right? But I got another email because we fleshed out a little bit here. This guy did for us because he helped explain things. We had a lot of questions, right, about how this whole thing worked. So he's filling us in. It's from a guy named Slap Cock and Balls.
Oh, come on.
And it's spelled Cockenbawls. I think it's Irish. Greetings, Mr. Cornette. I hope this day finds you well and free of floods and famine. I was listening to a recent podcast clip when you and Brian were introduced to the world of anime dating simulation and thought I might lend assistance by corroborating Mr. Manny's account of the weeb culture. Everything he said was spot on and accurate. If there's one thing you can say about the Japanese business philosophy, it's that they'll cater to any market. There is indeed a subcutaneous subculture of preverts and profligates lurking beneath the veneer of any sufficiently opulent society. And while I'm hardly qualified to speak on the subject, that won't stop me from trying. As a few points of clarification.
You seem plenty qualified.
Well, you do. You seem qualified already. As a few points of clarification, a wall scroll is exactly as you surmised. Remember, you said, what's a wall scroll? I thought it'd be some kind of tapestry that you unroll or whatever. Well, he said it's basically a poster made of cloth, but larger and much more expensive. There are both action figures and figurines available featuring characters from anime shows or video games. They both tend to be highly detailed and costly. I've personally imported an action figure of Freddie Mercury and another of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think they were around $30 each, and that's on the low end for these things. Well, yeah, Austin or a Freddie Mercury figure for $30, that's a good deal. He says they're fun to put in poses to give wrestling moves to each other and then otherwise forget about. Freddie always goes over. But back to the anime things such. Waifus and husbandos are simply how one might refer to their preferred fictitious anime spouse, usually in a joking fashion. Hopefully, usually in a joking fashion. Would you be seriously asking your fucking preferred fictitious anime spouse if they'd taken the garbage out? But anyways, a lot of weeb stuff straddles a very fine line between playing it straight and tongue-in-cheek self-awareness, but as with anything, there are always a few crazies who take it far too seriously. Luckily, the Japanese are quite happy to provide a bustling industry devoted to cranking out products that you can, well, crank it to. On the subject of dating sims, as Brian learned to his sorrow, they can span a number of themes. Hatoful Boyfriend is a parody game that lets you, parenthetically a human, romance talking birds. There's a studious bird, a sporty bird, and I think one bird who's in a biker gang.
You're having an affair with a bird?
You are romancing talking birds.
Oh my God.
And the birds have different personalities.
Is this guy British? Let's just clarify. Because when you say you're romancing the birds, you're trying to talk to the birds. That could have a different meaning over there.
No, it's actual birds. There are a variety of birds. And he says, mind you, it's not all pigeons. There's a studious bird.
That wasn't my concern.
Not all pigeons. You know, that has been the way that certain female individuals in and or around the wrestling business have been referred to in some cases. Like, is that your pigeon for tonight? And no, they have different personalities, and they're not all pigeons. There's a studious bird, a sporty bird, one bird's in a biker gang. It sounds like the Spice Girls. You got sporty bird, you got fucking sexy bird, scary bird. It's not all pigeons. There are a variety of birds. There's another game, Brian, in which the girl you're attracted to transforms into an alpaca.
Come on.
The sentence that I just read, that I have never heard those English words put together in that order before. What are the chances, folks? Get a mathematician. This is astronomical. Has this sentence ever been written? There's another game in which the girl you're attracted to transforms into an alpaca.
Now, the other one, the girl doesn't transform into a pigeon. It's a real pigeon?
They're already pigeons. They talk.
But do they turn into a girl at the end, or a boy, or whatever you want?
Let's read further.
Okay.
There's yet another in which you are... There's yet another in which you are diligently pursuing your choice of World War II military tanks who have taken on the characteristics and personality traits of attractive young women.
What does that even mean? What?
It means that Japan's secretly still pissed about World War II, and they're trying to make us all fall in love with fucking tanks.
Read that again. Oh, can you read that sentence again?
There is another game in which you are diligently pursuing your choice of World War II military tanks who have taken on the characteristics and personality traits of attractive young women.
So what does that mean? The tank looks like a woman, or the woman has the powers of a tank?
No, I think the tank already has its own powers because it's a fucking tank, but it's being alternately sly and coy and or bitchy and fucking, grumpy, depending on whether it's the characteristics and personality traits of attractive young. Possibly the tank winks at you. Possibly, I don't know, that it seems like a tank with that big cannon nozzle on the front would be a guy instead of a girl. But what can you do to a tank that you could do to a girl if the girl was willing? Because they're apparently also, some of them are going to be flirtatious.
Are there generals? I don't know why I'm thinking about this. they're just tanks on the loose, or they're like,
oh, General Goodbody. But Slap continues, Mr. Cock and Balls. These types of games have been around since at least the mid-90s, although they haven't really caught on outside of Japan until somewhat recently. Surprising. Your character almost always takes the form of a young high school student learning to talk to girls. Sometimes you'll engage in conversations in which you choose from a number of dialogue options or suggest an outing to the arcade, theme park, or library, or some such place. What about a bar, a swingers club, fucking, I guess that doesn't. The goal, of course, is to progress your relationship.
A bar, a swingers club. You went right from the bar to the swingers club.
Well,
those are easy to find.
Yeah, I'm thinking the arcade, the theme park, the library, or some such place. The goal, of course, is to progress your relationship with your chosen or best girl until you finally confess your feelings and begin dating. It's generally lighthearted and, as far as I'm aware, never devolves into outright debauchery. Well, all right, that tears it for me. If you're going to go to all this fucking trouble and you never get to the debauchery, what the fuck? You just going to go to the library with a fucking tank? You're going to goddamn take a pigeon to skee ball? And you're not going to get anything out of it? The pigeon is not going to peck your penis? The fucking tank is not going to twist your titties?
What if the pigeon finds out about the tank?
Well, then you've got fucking tanks and pigeons both pecking your pecker. They'll be jealous. And So, I hope this information has been somewhat educational, or failing that.
Oh, yeah.
At least it's stuck in your head now so you can suffer along with me. Take care. Thank you, Slap Cock and Balls, for that. No debauchery. You say tomato, I say blow me. But I want the bird that's in the biker gang. She's had some experience.
Why don't we get someone and develop a few of these on our own that are just ridiculous? Like a man falls in love with a chair and he decides...
I think there's somebody's beat us to it, Brian. I think we'd be traveling a road well-traveled by that point.
You know, because I like old-timey shit, I'm okay with best girl. You're my best girl. Hey.
Well, Lou Ann Poovey was Gomer Pyles' best girl, and Thelma Lou was Barney Fife's best girl, but I don't know if I want my best girl to either goddamn need tire tracks to fucking get through mud or have wings and webbed feet. I only had one girl in my life that had webbed feet and none that had wings. One had a growth on her right shoulder that was coming out. It looked like it could have been feathers or something, but it wasn't technically a wing. It wasn't. She would trim it every once in a while, but it wasn't technically a wing. And the webbed feet, I just told her keep her fucking boots on. She couldn't wear shoes because they didn't have the quadruple F width in regular shoes, so she had to put these kind of orthopedic boots on. But then you couldn't see the webbing. But I'll tell you what, here's the thing.
I don't know what. No. I don't know.
You certainly do. You know what that webbing is good for. They have to, when you go to Bangkok on vacation, you got to pay extra for the ones with the webbed feet. But I'll tell you this,